On July 3, 2020, at Mount Rushmore, then U.S. President Donald Trump warned about the threat of a new kind of fascism. In our schools, our newsrooms, even our corporate boardrooms, there is a new far-left fascism that demands absolute allegiance. If you do not speak its language, perform its rituals, recite its mantras, and follow its commandments, then you will be censored, banished, blacklisted, persecuted, and punished. It's not going to happen to us. We are living in confusing times when wannabe fascists depict themselves as democratic, while falsely presenting fascism as an ideology of the left, as Trump did at Mount Rushmore, and as Brazil's far-right former president Jair Bolsonaro has done for years. As with the fascist leaders of the past, Trump's denunciation of tyrannical, invisible forces is contradicted by his violent fascist leanings. In fact, Trump echoed a classic technique. Fascists tend to deny what they are and ascribe their own features and their own totalitarian politics to their enemies. The first and foremost of these features is the threat of violence. Along with radical lies, the politics of xenophobia, and dictatorship, violence is one of the four main pillars of fascism. Fascism presents violence as a beautiful moral force, the source of greatness, purity, and power, and it practices violence through its militarization of politics, the ultimate consequences of which are war and genocide. The violence of fascism is extreme in terms of both its execution and its long-term effects and legacies. Violence has been a key historical dimension of fascism as an ideology, as a movement, and as a regime. It's no coincidence that fascist violence is always preemptive. As Trump and Bolsonaro portray it, violence is falsely presented as a necessary response to an imagined threat. This type of anticipatory violence is what jump-started the Holocaust and justified it in the minds of its Nazi perpetrators. Think of Adolf Hitler's infamous self-fulfilling prophecy in his speech on January 30th, 1939, 2 years before the Holocaust began. "Today I will once more be a prophet. If the international Jewish financiers in and outside Europe should succeed in plunging the nations once more into a world war, then the result will not be the Bolshevization of the earth and thus the victory of Jewry, but the annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe."